Good afternoon. This is State Representative Bill Zedler, and I wanted to bring another segment to you today about some issues that are going on with the Texas Medical Board that could have a huge impact on your quality of care that you find. And let me tell you one of the things we found out. In the previous segment, I talked to you about how your Fourth Amendment rights are being violated by the Texas Medical Board, that you should have no expectation of privacy while the current leadership is involved there at the Texas Medical Board. But what I've also found is there's a real absence of due process on the medical board. And I'll tell you how that can affect your ability to get quality health care in this state. There was a physician who owned a minor emergency room clinic. And the Texas Medical Board, based on a complaint that was filed against him, we believe by a competitor, they had him come to an informal settlement conference based on false, misleading, and deceptive advertising. That's what they charged him with. And they had him come down to Austin, go through an informal settlement conference where they decided to levy a fine against him, and then they asked him to take some continuing education courses. Now, despite the fact that he didn't feel like he was guilty of anything, this particular physician went ahead and acquiesced, signed off on the fine and the continuing education courses. Why? Because in order to appeal the decision of the Texas Medical Board, he has to go to the State Office of Administrative Hearings. And to have an attorney to help him do that, it's probably going to cost him about $25,000 in attorney fees. So the doctor decides, well, I'm either going to pay $1,000 or I'm going to pay $25,000. He opted to pay the $1,000 and sign off on the false, misleading, deceptive advertising. I got a hold of this later on, and I looked at the ad, and I called the Texas Medical Board, and I said, I want you to specifically tell me where the ad is either false, misleading, or deceptive. After some hemming and hawing, basically they admitted was they don't always get that specific. Now, the fact of the matter is, friends, that's a little bit like saying we're gonna fine you $200 for going 55 miles an hour. Now, first of all, we're not going to tell you what the speed limit was. We're not even going to tell you where it was, when it was, or whatever. You just pay the fine. In other words, part of due process is that you must show a specific wrong, and here's what the standard is. And they did not do that in this case. And not only that, they don't do that in a number of cases. I've been involved in a number of cases where they say, well, the doctor did this and this and this, and that's a violation of the standard of care. They never tell what the standard of care is. And so it's very difficult for the doctor to argue against it. Now, here's the problem, my friends, because a lot of you may be saying, okay, so they're giving some doctors some bad time. But here's the problem. At the same time this was going on, we had another doctor in North Dallas who had killed 2 patients and dramatically injured 4 more that they will never be the same. And yet, the first complaint against this doctor came in on the 8th of August, 2012, and yet the Texas Medical Board did not temporarily suspend his license until the end of June 2013. Almost taken a year to temporarily suspend his license. Why? I suspect it's because they were spending a whole lot of time going after doctors where they could not specifically say what they had done wrong. They go after many doctors where there's been no injury to the patient, where the patient hadn't even filed the complaint. And in essence, levy these kind of broad-based charges against them without any specificity to them. The fact of the matter is that is a lack of due process. And while they're doing that, they're missing doctors, or they're failing to target in on doctors that are truly hurting or even killing patients. If you have a problem with this, call your state representative or your state senator and ask them to support legislation that demands due process on the Texas Medical Board. God bless you and hope you have a great day.